We are going to present the one of our project, hybrid seawater electrolysis technology. Actually, this project is based on the IP developed by our industrial partner, Torvex Energy. And I am the lead research fellow in this project. My role is as a electrochemist in this project. My colleague Prasant, he is a materials chemist here. And Amin, he is Mehdi Amin Puri, he is doing some simulation work. And Dinkun, he is doing some economic analysis of the product and the byproducts. And Stewart, he is our industrial partner. He is mainly responsible for the hardware, like some electrical things or some other electrolyzer design of stuff. So yeah. So these are the objectives. Before I proceed with the objectives, so basically, Torvex Energy has developed revolutionary green hydrogen production technique, which only required direct seawater, because the conventional technique required the filter water, or we cannot use the direct seawater. So the simple and sustainable process, in contrast with the conventional method, in a sense, we need in conventional method we need high energy, and also there are some other species developed which are like chlorine evaluation reaction and some other side reactions. So this project is quite unique in this sense. There is no chlorine evaluation reaction. And the second thing, the hydrogen produced this way can be used directly to directly use, and we can directly store somewhere for the further application. And this another good advantage for this project is the ready access of the seawater in the Tees Valley is make it more innovative project. So these are some objectives. So improve cathodic efficiency. So as I mentioned earlier, the conventional electrolyzer use a higher energy. So in this project, we are targeting to improve the cathodic efficiency, and also reduce the electrical consumption from 25 to 18 kilowatt hour per kilogram of hydrogen, and optimize the design of cathode, which we are using zinc as a cathode, and the evaluation of the feasibility of zinc reduction protocols, and finally the assessment of the opportunity of the profitability of the hydrogen and some other byproducts. So innovation and challenges. So the conventional, as I mentioned earlier, the conventional electrolysis. So currently, conventional electrolyzer use the fresh water and purified water, which is further burden on the cost of the system, and also it is not a viable option because some of the communities already suffering with the fresh water. So if we, on the other hand, if we use the seawater, so we need to purify the seawater through some purification technique like RO technique and some other purification things. So this project directly using the seawater, there are some species like chlorine and bromine, we can be interfere in the OER activity. And another thing is, the chlorine is the 2-electron process, while the OER or oxygen evolution is the 4-electron process. So in this sense, kinetically, chlorine evolution reaction is more favorable in contrast with the OER. So like this OER process. So in this regard, an unconventional, or we can say the hybrid electrolysis process approach for the green hydrogen directly from the seawater by using the zinc, which act as a sacrificial reactant, has not been considered by anyone so far. Torvex Energy is perhaps the first. So Torvex Energy, our industrial partner, is the first one to identify its potential application. So this is the simple our design. You see on left and right there are some bipolar plates. These bipolar plates not only facilitate the flow gases, and also this facilitate for the thermal balance of the system, and also these plates are the boundaries in between the another stack, because this is the only the one cell. Another thing, the gaskets, used for the packing of the one cell. and porous transportation membrane used as a transportation media. So here you can see the cathode. In cathode, we are using Raney nickel as a cathode, and for the anode, we are using zinc as a anode, which after the passage of time, we need to replace the zinc because it will be convert to the zinc oxide after the passage of time. So we have an electrolytic cell that produce only hydrogen, no oxygen. Instead, it's produced zinc 2 plus in the anode, which eventually can be precipitated as a zinc hydroxide or zinc oxide. And zinc oxide is extremely viable product in many chemical and agriculture industries. At the laboratory scale, we already demonstrate hydrogen generation at the zero point 0.1 to 0.6 to 1 volt, corresponding to the current density of 30 milliampere per centimeter square. With the Faradic efficiency is close to 100% and a specific electrical power consumption, actually this is wrong, electrical energy consumption of only 25 to 30 kilowatt hour per kilogram of hydrogen is attained at an operating voltage of only 1 volt. This can be further lower with incorporating some other catalysts. So here are the some work packages. The first work package is cathode amp at reducing the overpotential, and the second one is the feasibility study of the electrochemical reduction of zinc to zinc oxide, zinc oxide to zinc, and the cell design fabrication and operating of the desk mount or skill mount operation, simulation and the process optimization, and finally market assessment and product diversification. So here is the approach to design modified electrode material. So Raney nickel is the life-changing catalyst. Basically, Raney nickel is the alloy structure of aluminum and the nickel. So this alloy, if we leached out this alloy with the high concentrated sodium hydroxide, so the aluminum counterpart is run out with the castics with the alkaline NaOH and leave some void spaces. So you know in the electron transfer reactions, we always looking for the high surface area catalysts. So Mary Rennie in 1885 to 1966 invented the catalyst, which is actually Rennie nickel. Basically, Murray he tried to synthesize some catalyst for the hydrogenation of vegetable oil. So further, this Rennie nickel find a very permanent place in many other application, not only for the electrolysis and some other like pharmaceutical industry and many other industries. So why Rennie nickel? As I mentioned, for the electron transfer process, we are always looking for the high surface area catalyst. So Rennie nickel give the opportunity to the high surface area, which can also be tailored effectively. And also Rennie nickel have a potential application not only for hydrogenation of vegetable oil and other chemical industry, but many other industries. Conventional electrolyzer cathode and anode also use the Rennie nickel. So ready available of nickel and aluminum metal at a reasonable cost is further uh, increase the usage of this Rennie nickel. So approach to design the modified electrode material. So modified and customized method for Rennie nickel preparation with opportunity for the scale up of the large electrolysis cell. So idea is we start with the nickel mesh as a backbone and deposit Rennie nickel on it. So here are some techniques which we are adopting to synthesize the modified Rennie nickel. So initially we designed two route of synthesis. The first route is the electrostatic spraying of the particles of aluminum and nickel on a nickel mesh to make like a sandwich type stuff, and then followed by the calcination. This is the first route, and the second route we use as a nickel mesh as a backbone and deposit on a back on different side of the nickel mesh with the nickel and aluminum mixture, and then again followed by the calcination. In both techniques, after the calcination, we are doing the alkaline etching or etching process to remove the aluminum counterpart. So initial work which we already done in our laboratory. So these are one image for the Rennie nickel before the leaching process. You see there are this image shows alloy structure, and nickel and aluminum they fused each other to make a like a solid solution. And after the leaching process, you can see aluminum counterparts run out and leave some spaces, void spaces. So these void spaces, we believe these are the they are the main player for the high efficiency of the Rennie nickel in the electrolyzer. So these are the some electrochemical work we already done in our laboratory with this synthesized Rennie nickel. So you can see this graph. This is LSV curve. Actually, this is the graphical representation of the performance of the catalyst at the laboratory scale. So you see on a curve on a y-axis is represent the current density, and x-axis shows the potential, applied potential. So actually we can divide this curve in three sections. One is the onset potential section, which is you can see around this 2 point, the arrow shows this is the onset potential zone, and then you can further move, which is called over potential zone, and then finally you see if we are increasing the potential further, there is no significant change in the current density. So we can get some information from this LSV curve, and then plot a graph which shows the over potential required to reach the current density of 10 milliampere and the 50 milliampere. So you can see in a graph, in the bottom graph, the Rennie nickel with the composition of 2.5 and 2.5 Rennie nickel aluminum composition give 200 millivolt over potential to reach the current density of 10 milliampere per centimeter square. On the other side, this composition also reached the current density of 50 milliampere per centimeter square, while the other composition like 1:4 ratio, this just reached the 10 milliampere current density, not the 50 milliampere current density. So the another part, as I mentioned, of this project is the simulation and the process optimization. So simulation at the electrochemical process plant designed through the SFN Plus software. So main goal for the simulation and the process optimization is to develop a sophisticated SFN Plus simulation model to understand and optimize the electrochemical process. And the key focus areas are resources utilization, optimization, supporting scale-up decision for the future application like pilot plant, and detailed process analysis and optimization for the maximum efficiency. So detailed SFN Plus simulation model. So modeling of the electrolyzer, thermodynamic model and electrochemical model, and then we move to alkaline electrolyzer simulation, both stacks and simulation on a balance of the plant, sensitivity analysis in terms of temperature, pressure and current density, and finally data fitting. You can see this block diagram. Another innovative thing in this project is we can directly use the water which comes from the RO plant. I mean the discharge of the RO plant, we can also use the discharge of the RO plant directly in our electrolytic cell to generate the green hydrogen. So this is the basically focus on the market assessment and economic analysis of the main product and some of the byproducts like zinc and the water. So you can see the pie chart on your right side. China was again the largest hydrogen user, accounting around nearly 1/3 of the global demand, followed by North America and the Middle East, which is quite comparable with the rest of the world, which is around 24%. So you can see in a left side of the pie chart, the bar chart, global hydrogen demand continue to grow. In 2023, they reached new height of the more than 97 metric ton, which is around 2.5% increase compared with the 2022. So regional inside market leader, China is the global leader in electrolyzer capacity, accounting for the 50% of global installation by 2023. And China is the main investor in the large scale of electrolyzer processes, including 260 megawatt plant. On the other hand, US hydrogen market has been flourished by significant policies like incentives such as hydrogen tax credit and some other things. On the other hand, Europe has committed substantial resources to the hydrogen through the progress programs like IPECI. So investment trend and challenges. So investment trend and challenges under the current policies, hydrogen investment need to reach 12 billion annually by 2030 to support the planned project, which is further raised to the 112 billion dollar annually by the same year. So there are some investment challenges like high capital cost, policy uncertainty, and demand creation. So key opportunities for the investment. Despite these challenges, the hydrogen market offers significant opportunities like industrial decarbonization, green hydrogen export hubs, and other innovative challenges. Thank you.
Okay, we've got time for one or two questions if need be, if anybody has any from the audience.
Your energy figures for the electrolyzer is about half of what a normal electrolyzer would be. 55 kilowatt hours per kilogram of hydrogen would be normal for a PEM electrolyzer, let's say. Is the value of the extra cost for the zinc that you're going to have to buy, even though you can sell the zinc oxide, is that worth the saving in electricity or not? Have you looked at that economic analysis?
Yeah. So actually, as I mentioned, this project is divided in 3 sections. So the last one is the economic analysis. So our colleague Dinkun, he is here from the Durham. Actually, he is the one who is doing some economic analysis about the zinc market and also the hydrogen. So Dinkun, can you please comment on this question?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Based on current analysis, we try to figure out the hydrogen price, mostly on the global price and the local price. We haven't considered how the hydrogen price affects the electricity or the electricity price, but I think it's important, especially for the global, for the local things. For the UK, of course, it can influence the price of hydrogen.
What about the zinc market? That was the point of the question was being asked.
Zinc market, I think for current research, we are analyzing the zinc oxide market. I haven't do research about zinc market because the technology, what we are doing is changing. So for the byproduct is changing all the times. What we know is for the zinc oxide market is pretty good. As a byproduct, it can bring a lot of profit for the production. And this technology, of course, we can reduce the cost for the whole production. And yeah.
Okay, just to add a bit to that. So we are actually looking at the zinc oxide market. Okay, we'll look at the economic viability of that compared to standard electrolysis technology, because there needs to be a market for that zinc oxide. And we're also looking at if need be, actually bringing back to the zinc as well as part of that market. So we'll look at the market and see what opportunities there are, and if there's an imbalance there, then the economics of reducing some of that zinc oxide back to zinc if need be for the process. So that's something that we're all looking to do, which Dinkun is going to lead on the economics perspective and that. If anybody has any other questions, by the way, about this technology, Rob Hutchinson, do you want to wave your hand? So Rob is part of Torvex Energy. By all means, have a catch up with him this afternoon. Have we got time for one more very quick question? If anybody has anything else. Venkat's part of the academic team.
I'm just wanting to clarify. the answer, the question that you asked, essentially the idea is, yes, we are trying to balance the zinc versus the hydrogen salability. And one of the main targets is to actually lower the ore potential for the cathode even further. So try to bring it down to almost 18 to 20 kilowatt hour per kg. And when you do that level, then we are talking something seriously useful as well.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the next project. Can everybody give a clap and a thanks for Zafar?